Crossroads channel of light fluid. Welcome back to Burrows. And if you remember last time, we'd ended up in New York in the 1960s. And it looked like things weren't going to go well for Mark. So what's going to happen from there? I think it's time to find out. It's morning. I'm laying in a soft bed. The window is slightly open and the curtains slowly ebb and flow. Sunlight dances across the ceiling. I hear the noises of morning traffic. I hear soft snoring. Mark is here. Of course. It was just a nightmare. I'm here with Mark. I'm safe. He's safe. Nothing bad is going to happen. I turn over and look at a bloody hole where Mark's face should be, triggering me to scream and push myself out of the bed. No! God damn it! I tried so hard not to see it. I pull down some of the sheets and bury my face in them. Go away! Go away! Oh, Gray, is that you? He pokes his head over the edge and looks down at me. He has a face again. Oh, thank God. Is everything all right? I heard a scream. You're okay? Well, of course I'm okay. I'm asking about you. Sorry. I wipe away the tears and snot and sit on the bed. Mark's rubbing my back and making shushing sounds to calm me down. I ask how I got into his bed and he says I was uncomfortable on the couch and crawled into it at some point during the night. I don't know how plausible that is. I'm just glad to be here next to him again. Oh, what happened? A bad dream? That's oversimplifying things, but I nod. I'm just glad you're okay. I was really scared. I was all alone. Hey, I'm not going anywhere, buddy. I promise. Promise? Promise? Well, pinky swear. Cross my heart and all the rest. We interlock pinkies and I choke out a giggle. I feel like I'm being babied. I don't mind it. I panic easily and that was one of the worst nightmares of my life. I swear, if anything happens to this man, I'll hunt Virgil down and rip his goddamn head off. Wherever you are, if you're still out there. Consider this a challenge. Monday, December 27th. I splashed some cold water on my face to help wake me up. I instinctively go to check my face in the mirror, only to be met with an empty reflection. Guess I should get used to that. I hope I don't look like a complete mess, even if it does help my alibi. Although, Mark was pretty nice to me even before I cleaned up. Since sight isn't going to help, let's go with the next best thing. I take a whiff under my arms. Nothing too egregious. Possums are naturally always a little musky, so it's hard to tell how I come off to other species. Maybe Mark's into that? I mean, he's a posh guy, sure. Maybe he likes to get dirty on the side. This is New York. Who knows what the rich get up to here? I grab my shirt from the drying rack and inspect it. Mark was nice enough to let me run it through the washer overnight. Probably need to borrow some heavier clothing if we're going to be outside all day. I can't help but feel like a charity case. At some point I'll have to find a way to pay him back for all of this. Owen people never sat right by me. That's why I left home in the first place. For in the end all I did was hurt more people. The coffee's on. Come in. All right, game time. Today's going to be great. I throw on my shirt and make my way to the common area. Mark's sitting on the couch reading the paper. 2 steaming cups sit on the coffee table. He leans down to grab one and grins as he sees me. Feeling better? I made sure to brew a French roast for you. Threw plenty of sugar cubes in there to boot. I smile and take a seat. The intoxicating smell of freshly brewed coffee is waking me up more than the cold water did. I take a nice big sip. This is really, really good coffee. I'm glad you approve. I ordered these from a small shop in the village, and they ordered it from a small cafe in Paris. Oh, I guess orders it from Colombia? Huh. Talk about a roundabout way to get a cup of joe. At least it's sweet this time. He nods and sets the newspaper down to stretch, complete with a big dopey canine yawn. He hasn't changed out of his robe. I can get a good look at his body now that I've calmed down. Can't believe how dense his fur is. It's soft but still kind of shaggy, with tufts curling up in thick patches all over his chest and stomach. Not bad musculature for a man his age either. Though I'm only guessing. He looks maybe 32? 33? His clothes must be custom tailored, fit him perfectly, or I've noticed his cute little belly sooner. Etienne was cut like marble. I've always been a sucker for more average body types. I always joked that once I learned how to cook, I'd fatten him up into the perfect chunky lapdog. Luckily for him, I can't cook worth a damn. When I'm done ogling, I realize I've been staring for a while and look up to see Mark staring back. He laughs awkwardly. See something strange? Oh, no, I mean, yes. Your body, it's very red. I'm not great at flirting to begin with. That was definitely not my best work. Yes, very observant, Mr. Grey. Don't patronize me. I want to kill myself again. Honestly, it's so rare to get mistaken for a fox all the time. I always have to show them the mane to prove I'm part of the canine club. Honestly, I'd never met a maned wolf up until now, and I see the similarities. I've met enough foxes to know the differences. The number one difference between a fox is abundance of sex pheromones. Most critters smell something before we see it, and you can absolutely tell when a fox is in the mood. Canines have better control of the chemical side of body language, but can't hide the physical signs very well. I notice Mark's tail is wagging. Do you want to see? Sure. I am kind of curious, all things considered. He faces away from me and tugs his robe down, exposing his back. What I thought was just a tuft of dark hair extends all the way down like a mohawk. It trails down his spine to the base of his tail, thinning out right above where I imagine his ass is. Can I touch it? Oh, go ahead. I shampooed it and everything. I run my hand down the length of it. Almost feels like a horse's mane. There's substance to it, since it holds its shape. My fingers glide through it like normal hair. I get to the small of his back and stop. Well, I did it. I pull away and he lifts his robe back over his shoulders. I didn't want to see how far it went, but... Well, let's not get frisky with a complete stranger just yet, all right? Been down that road enough times. Oh, now you're part of an elite group. Oh? I touched Mark's mane and all I got was this lousy shirt and all that. We laugh and finish our coffee. He heads to the bedroom to change before we head out, and I grab the newspaper, curious as what's happening in the future. I flip it over to the front page to skim the headlines of the day. Tensions rise as violent protesters continue to clash with NYPD. The fight for civil rights is seemingly endless. PKI resistance in Indonesia squashed. US backs new order. Number of heroin addicts soar as drug epidemic spreads to suburbs. Well, that was a bummer. Though there's still a special divide made my heart sink. Felt like things were slowly improving back in my time. Steer Environments owned almost every club and restaurant on our block. Simone was making good money. It didn't seem like anyone cared that Etienne and Jean associated with us freely. It was nothing compared to how my family lived. The elected officials were still canine at the end of the day. I have to remember that I'm in a bubble when it comes to this stuff. Possums only get lumped in with rodents for superficial reasons. At the end of the day, we're still better off than most, being sometimes marsupials, sometimes rats. Hell, I've even been called a sad hamster before, yet nobody's throwing stones through my windows to drive me out of town. And I've had turncoat hissed at me enough times to know how our kind's place in history fits into this crooked institution. I shake off the negative thoughts and take our dirty cups over the sink. The least I can do while I'm here for free is clean up after myself. Mark's kitchen was small but tidy. The pots and pans hanging on the wall look like they've never been used. A thin layer of dust outlining each one confirms my suspicions. Oh well. If I had this kind of money again, it's not like I'd eat my own shitty cooking either. Almost ready. You mind if I pick out a coat for you? Okay, nothing too flashy, please. Out of curiosity, I check the fridge. Electric. Fancy. I pop it open and... 3 bottles of beer in a takeout box. Yep, that's what I expected. Mark returns and tosses the dry cleaning bag over the couch. He's wearing a sharp overcoat. I think he'll approve. I zip open the bag, not sure what to expect. We'll see. Huh? It's an Ulster coat, fine tweeding in black. It wouldn't be out of place in my own time. Mark really does have an eye for fashion. Wow, this is very nice. Right, I thought it looked dashing with your fur colour. I have to disagree. I usually avoid dark colours because I hate emphasising how white my face fur is. Looks like some washed out phantom when I wear black. This would look great on brightly coloured fur like Mark's though, which is probably why he bought it. Let me try it on before I walk out looking like a kid wearing his dad's coat. I'm not that tall. You're a giant, sir. I slip into it and walk over to a mirror in the foyer. Somehow, it fits me perfectly. Did he accidentally get the wrong size and forget to return it? Mark whistles at me and I blush a little. Well, looking dapper, Mr. Gray. Told you it'd be a good fit. Thanks. He walks behind me and leans in, his arms hanging over my chest and around my neck. He's a little heavy. I wouldn't normally mind it, but it's hard to breathe him on top of me. Yep, fits just how I remembered. Uncanny, really. He mutters something under his breath I can't quite make out. Hey, Gray? I breathe in a little louder than intended and squeak out a reply. Yeah? You don't have to sleep on the couch anymore. Not if you don't want to. My bed is big enough for both of us. I don't know how to respond. The idea sounds lovely, but right now I feel overwhelmed by the weight of his body crushing me. I choke out another reply. Are you sure? As I start feeling lightheaded, he eases off of me and fixes my collar, smiling innocently. Hospitality's #1 priority at El Casa de Mark. He unlocks the door and waves me over. Come along then. Big days ahead of us. I sigh in relief and follow him out, trying not to think about wherever that was. Please don't look at me. I don't want to be found. I love you all. Great. So, what do you make of this? Yeah, it's got to be the most half-assed suicide I've ever laid eyes on. Right, doesn't sound like him at all. The handwriting is sloppy too. Don't these things usually require multiple attempts? And the trash can's empty. I guess he rushed it. I don't think he's actually suicidal, but... What if he's serious? What if he is? His girl, it's his choice. It! We both know he probably just ran away again. A chicken-hearted guy like him couldn't go through with offing himself. Or we should go to him and find him before he gets too far. Yeah. What is wrong with you? These are... Listen, sweet. I know you like having them around, but not kids anymore. This ain't playtime. Let's be honest with ourselves. He's a mooch. He's taking advantage of your kindness as well as yours, sweet. Maybe he ran back to his daddy crying and fussing, but tired of pretending to be a city boy and running around with. Maybe he just needed some distance from you. It wasn't easy for him to focus on work with you coming around all the time. I say that, aren't we in the same boat? No, I remember how you could stop crying after you and I got together. Ray broke your hearts in hope. That's in the past. I've moved on. And maybe the past is where you should stay. This could be good for both of us. You have to know because he wants to be found. His heart isn't in it. I know it. At least, I know I'd want someone to try and find him. You never give up, do you? Well, this don't make end up anytime soon. We should get going now before he does anything stupid. Well, more stupid than this. Yes. Right, let's go. We hop in the elevator and start the 1.5-minute long trip down. So, what are you showing me first? Well, you're new here, so I wanted to show the staples of the city, Empire State, Statue of Liberty, all that jazz. The doors open, we head outside. Mark manages to wave down a taxi rather quickly and we pile in. First up, Times Square. After that, the Empire State's a short walk over. Swell, a twofer. What's Times Square like? Imagine it. Rows of bright flashing neon lights as far as the eye can see. Billboards the size of buildings. See thrilling stage shows at the Broadway Theatre. His eyes sparkle with admiration. I nodded his every word, hardly able to contain myself waiting to arrive at these promised lands. I'm no stranger to an urban landscape, but New Orleans is nothing like this. While I've seen, the city seems to ooze culture and opulence out of every alley. His singing voice wasn't bad either, a smoky tenor that resonated pleasantly throughout our tiny carriage. His deep voice was, in no doubt, partly due to the cigarettes I recall him smoking in that strange place, back when we first met. It occurs to me he's refrained from lighting up since I've joined him. Perhaps he's quitting for his New Year's resolution? I remember how on edge Etienne was when he tried to quit and shudder. His temper's short enough as it is. The guy practically bit our heads off any time we asked how it was going. When Ed wanted to hurt someone, he went for the throat every time. That last fight. If Simone wasn't there too. Suddenly the taxi screeches to a halt and the driver flicks the ticker off. Yeah, you get that. That'll be $1.75, pal. Mark throws much more than the required amount through the collection window as we leap out into the world. We're here. Times Square. What adventure awaits? What the hell is this? The streets are littered with trash and almost no people are out. A bitter wind whips up through the narrow street and I tuck my head in, pulling the collar of my new coat over my sensitive ears. I'd only just recovered my previous bout with frostbite. My fleshy bits were still pretty raw. Mark notices and pulls me closer, locking arms with me and stuffing his hand into my pocket to cover mine. Would you mind if I see a little heat? I shake my head. His hand was pretty warm and I think I was actually the one benefiting from it. Expected more people. Well, it is a Monday. Maybe walk a little further up. As we stroll down the icy sidewalk, I look to my left. I see some of those neon signs Mark was raving about earlier. Girls, girls, girls. XXX. Peep show. The curvy feline wearing only an overcoat and heels beckons an old badger into one of the shops. Looks around suspiciously before sliding off a ring and darting inside. A few bums lay outside, slumped over in various states of undress, bringing out of bottles covered by brown paper bags. One is pantsless and fully splayed, lazily jerking himself off in broad daylight. We lock eyes and he smiles at me with all four of his remaining teeth.
Yeah, Toots, looking for something to shove in that big old snout of yours?
No. He laughs and helicopters his filthy dick at me.
Got me an all-day sucker right here, pal.
Mark pulls me aside and flips the vagrant off while turning back to me with an exasperated look on his face. Are you sure it's the same Times Square you were talking about, Mark? Well, let's walk down this way instead. Less scenic, but much safer. We about face and start jogging down the avenue. Mark pulls me along so hard I almost eat dirt tumbling over a snowbank. Hey, slow down a bit.
Haha, yes, of course. I meant to drop us off on 7th, not 8th. Silly me, we're almost there.
We round a corner so fast I almost knock into a trash can.
Okay, here we are, the theatre district.
I'm excited, recalling the private show Mark just gave me. The idea of seeing big-time stars on Broadway instead of random in a dingy club made me giddy.
Unless it was Simone, of course. She always knocked it out of the park.
We walk past the concert hall and I run over to the listings.
Who's playing? Gershwin? Afraid he's been dead for quite some time.
Ouch. Okay, of all the shocks to my system, that one hurt the most. I see a list one Barbara Streisand. No clue who that is, so I move on towards the playbills. Alright, who's big right now? Is Tallulah Bankhead still performing?
Okay, now I know you weren't lying yesterday. Sheesh.
I told you.
It looks like all this playing is a matinee of sweet charity. You know Foss?
He does a little jazzy little gesture with his hands.
No, but I hope he sees a doctor about that tick.
He chuckles and we round the corner into the main square. There's more people around now, none of the hobo flasher variety.
Well, here it is, the source of all the postcards.
I look up expecting to see the sea of dazzling lights Mark described, billboards the size of my house and dancing neon. I'll give him one thing, the lights are on. But it's 11 in the morning.
It looks better at night.
You don't say. I feel bad. I could easily imagine how great this would look in the dark. After seeing how sketchy the regulars are, I wouldn't want to stick around to see them.
Ray,
I hear music and my ears perk up. Someone with a guitar is playing for tips down the block, and I veer off in that direction. Mark whines, upset that things aren't going to plan. Come on, it's something at least.
I guess.
You can see them keep walking. The guitarist is a horse wearing a cowboy hat playing folk songs for a growing crowd of people. Music wasn't anything special, but his voice was nice and I found myself tapping my feet.
This isn't so bad. At least you don't have to wait in line.
See, I told you. Suddenly, a rat, also in the cowboy hat, rushes up behind him and knocks the horse to the ground. The guitar smashes on the ground, strings snapping with a discordant twang.
You son of a bitch, you stole my fucking act!
The crowd gasps.
Huh? Damn, who the hell do you think you are?
They start resting on the ground, knocking the tip jar over. Some of the crowd flees in terror, others scramble to pick up the loose change. Fists start to fly and eventually some cops run to a nearby coffee shop, breaking up the fight after landing a few hits of their own.
Alright, you used to. You get it out of your systems. Congratulations, you bought yourselves 2 tickets to Cozy Sun in Rikers.
They roughly handcuff them behind the back and herd them down the street. The canine cop knocks the rat to the floor, laughing as he struggles to get up without the use of his arms. It's a bloody mess. His lips busted and both eyes swelled shut. It's hard to tell whether it's from that squabble or the arrest. The cops pass us by and shoot me a dirty look. I must have been giving one back. The feline cop pushes the husky onto his partner and sizes me up.
You got something to say, vermin?
Marsupial, actually. Before he can respond, Mark steps in between us and nudges me in the opposite direction.
We don't want any trouble.
turns and whispers to me, not breaking eye contact with the officer. Let's get out of here. I nod, still scouring the fat cat who's resting a hand on his nightstick. The other, a pit bull, keeps his eyes trained on us as well. Have a nice day, sir. There's palpable venom on that last word. The cat grunts and walks away from us. I hear the rat squeak behind me, followed by the slam of car doors. We escape unscathed. He'd so much as looked sideways at Mark. Well, maybe just giving him a piece of my mind. I don't think I'd win that fight. Probably won't do me any good if I get locked up on my second day anyway. I'm not surprised at the aggression from the police at all. Whatever small amount of privilege possums have on our pale faces is meanness against an unabashed racist with power. Mark's fist is shaking as I follow him through the crowd. We walk in silence for a while. The mood has shifted so much in just a few minutes, and the day had only just begun. I can tell Mark is in a bad mood by how fast he's walking, or even checking if I'm still behind him. I feel a little bad, even though it was ultimately out of our control. Mark mutters something under his breath. "I'll have to go and see the dog and pony show, huh?" I jog a bit to catch up with him and try to get his attention. I have to practically step in front of him. Eventually he stops and sighs to himself. "Mark, stop." He stops walking and stares at the ground, unable to look at me. I wasn't trying to cause problems. That cop was just such a... No, it's not that. You're alright to be upset. They are assholes. Then why are you... It's nothing. Oh, look. We just came on an off day, that's all. It wasn't supposed to be like this. Okay, sure. Neither of us to blame, though. Shit happens sometimes. He finally looks at me with a concerned expression. I just... Need a smoke? Huh? I chuckle and pantomime puffing on an imaginary cigarette. I know you smoke, Mark. I can smell it all over your clothes, the apartment. Maybe your breath if I'm lucky. Well, I didn't want to impose. Mark, it's fine. Everyone I know smokes cigarettes. I'm used to it. He sighs, pulling a loose one out from his coat's breast pocket. I just felt bad smoking around you all the time. It's hard on the lungs, you know. Huh? My doctor smokes. So does mine. After a flash from his light, he takes a deep drag and sighs, smoke billowing out of his nostrils like twin dragons. Phew. Anyway, that's not what I was going to say. What then? I just really wanted to impress you. You already have. Besides, you can't control the entire city. There are weirdos everywhere. He nods but doesn't seem convinced. Place a hand on his shoulder and give it a gentle squeeze. We still have 2 sights to see. The day is young. Come on, don't give up. His eyes brighten, he smiles back weakly. Puts out his cigarette and cranes his head, looking at the street signs. Well, in that case, we're right on 33rd. We just have to walk down to 5th Avenue up at the Empire State Building. He points up at the giant building been looming over us the whole day. Even saw it from Mark's apartment, miles away from here. Like the other skyscrapers I've seen, it doesn't instill the same primal sense of fear in me. Despite being the tallest, something about it being that big just makes sense cosmically, like Big Ben or the Eiffel Tower. We approach the base and there are small groups of people scattered about, some taking pictures while others simply gawk at it. Let's get a better look, shall we? I nod and walk over the doors. I stand as close to them as I can and look straight up. Fuck, that's trippy. Can't even see the top anymore. Mark comes to join me and chuckles. Would you believe the elevator to the top takes less time than my buildings? There's no way that's true. Wait, does it? Only one way to find out. I feel a tap on my shoulder and turn around to see a mouse dressed in what looks like a bellhop's uniform, only with a military-style cap. Welcome to the world's tallest building. Oh, would you like a photo? We glance at each other and nod in unison. I love mementos like these, even if it'll take a while to get the film developed. Alright, you two, stand right on this spot. Perfect. Say cheese. 1, 2, 3, good job. I'm seeing stars. Wasn't expecting a little camera to have such a big flash. So, where do we go to pick up the photos? As I say this, I notice a white square come out of the front of it. She pulls it out and starts shaking it. Just give me a minute here and it'll be good to go.
Huh? Aren't Polaroids great?
Yeah, totally.
Right. Are you saying you've never taken an instant photo before?
I guess I am, yeah. Is that weird? I'm never going to get used to the upgrade in technology. Shouldn't Mark find my reactions a little strange?
Nah. Well, either way, now you have.
That was a little too easy. The guide hands me the photo and runs off, spotting another group who just arrived.
Wow, a colour model too.
Well, not too shabby. Well, let me take a look. He hangs over and angles it so he can see. Wow, it really is instant. And in colour. It's like a mini painting. And I showed up in it. I guess it's only reflections that are affected. I showed that before, actually. This could have ruined everything if I ended up showing Mark standing alone. At least I know what I look like now. Not ideal, but not a wreck either. Mark looks good though. No surprise. Mark pockets a photo and we head inside the lobby. Everything's made of marble and brass, and the Art Deco designs fit perfectly with the colour scheme. Welcome. First time here? Yes, actually, I have a question. Of course, ask away. I look around to make sure Mark's not in earshot. I see him admiring some framed photos on the other side of the room, so I think I'm in the clear. I lean in to whisper, Is it true? Go on. That he used to land dirigibles on the roof of this building. The man I came with kept insisting that the whole way here. The Martin laughs, elbowing his co-worker and Jess as she chuckles along with him. Oh boy, a sucker's born every minute. Excuse me? He wipes a tear away and reaches under the desk, pulling out a photo to show me. I gasp. It shows a blimp almost the length of the building, docking at the top. Some wise guy doctored this back in the 30s and got a rumour going. Sure, there are talks about it. It's obviously a terrible idea. Aircrafts and tall buildings don't mix. I nod, wondering if Mark was pulling my leg or genuinely believed the rumour. I thank the attendant and walk over to the sitting area Mark's standing by. He's staring at the schematics of the building's construction. I've seen plenty of those in my dad's workshop. Contractors will bring over plans and go for the required materials piece by piece before he'd settle on the price. Are you finding blueprints?
Oh, yeah.
They have this lovely mathematical quality to them.
Where art meets function, you know.
There's a piece in a museum's vault and I begged Mr. Cartwright to put it for auction. It just won't budge. That's a bummer.
Yes, well, I have a plan. Ask Lauren, she's the head of the conservation department, to select it for our holiday party's charity auction.
Wow, can she do that?
Well, technically, her role as event coordinator overrides our boss, since the auction's being funded by a non-for-profit organisation. Well, it's foolproof.
He smiles slyly, clearly proud of his master plan coming together. I guess Mark can be a little conniving when he needs to be. I don't mind as long as he doesn't try to use that big brain to mess with me. Well, we've seen everything in the lobby. What's next? He points to a row of gilded elevators behind me.
Only way's up. Come on.
We head into one of the elevators, and to my surprise, there's an attendant waiting inside. Guess it's not a dead career after all.
Observation deck, please.
The doors close, the machine lurches upward faster than expected. We imagine the floors must be zipping by second, and grip the handrail, feeling dizzy. I was wrong, this is still terrifying. Big buildings are bad.
Oh geez, are you alright? You know what always makes me feel better?
What?
On the trip back down you can jump and get some hang time for a second. Pretty cool, huh?
Yeah, very cool. This was a terrible idea. I'm seriously close to losing my lunch. Thankfully I feel the elevator stop and the doors open. I walk out and get hit with a blast of cold air, the strong wind practically pushing me back into the car. Oh God, we're outside. Why are we outside? Come on, you can see the whole city from up here. I cling against the wall for dear life. We're on the roof. The top floor I can even see from the ground. In this perspective, it looks like we're floating in the sky. All the other buildings are gone. Mark bravely walks out towards the flimsy-looking guardrail to take a look. Mark, be careful. Well, don't worry. Come on, let's try to find my house. I can just imagine looking down from there sends a shiver through my body. I slide down the wall to the cold floor. I don't think that's a great idea. Oh man, what a rush. Can you believe they used to land blimps up here? Help. Huh? Oh shit. He runs back over and helps me up. I can't help but cling to his sleeves like a child. Feels like the next strong breeze will knock me off the side and send me tumbling to my death. Why didn't you tell me you were afraid of heights? I've never been this high up before. What about a plane? You've never flown on a plane? No? I'm getting annoyed. Why is he making this sound like my fault again? I just want to get the hell off this roof before I pass out. I'm going back down. Sorry, I can't do this. Hey, it's fine. Let's go together, okay? I nod and we wait for the elevator to come back up. He stands behind and shields me from the wind with his broad back, his long arms caging me in like a safety net. It works, and also thankfully the next elevator is also empty. We rush in and ride back down. Mark resists trying out his hang time trick and continues to rub my back until we reach the ground floor. Ah, solid earth. I'm shivering as I walk by the welcome booth. The Martin shoots Mark a dirty look, silently accusing him of traumatizing me. He mouths sorry and holds the door open. I race out of the building and walk over to a trash can, hacking up all the spit that forms my pre-vomit induced retching. Mark waits patiently by the door, looking upset once again. Alright, so this didn't go very well either. At least I can brag to everyone back home that I stood 102 stories high and lived. Etienne would just be impressed I didn't try to jump off. I can breathe easy again and walk back over to the big lug and gently punch his shoulder. Hey. I feel a lot better now. Thanks. Thanks. I'm the one that put you through this in the first place. I feel awful. This one's on me, alright? Just no more tall buildings. Not even my house? One exception. He straightens up and he rolls me with another big smile. Well, I guess we don't have to go to the top of the Statue of Liberty then. I gulp, knowing that another surprise like that would have fully sent me over the edge. Maybe we should just skip that for now, as fun as that sounds. Well, that was the final stop on my tour. What else do you want to do? Before I can answer, my stomach growls. Lunch would be nice. I could go for some chow too. Let me find a phone. I'll call it one of my usual places for a reservation. Wow, a reservation? Seems awfully fancy for a casual day out. I guess it's just how Mark operates. Back in the manor we had cooks fixing our meals, but lunch was hardly ever more than soup or a sandwich. We walk a few blocks and find a public phone booth. Mark thumbs in a nickel and whips out a little notebook full of phone numbers. Oh, what are you feeling like? French, Italian, maybe Asian fusion? French sounds good. It's the only one I'm really qualified to judge. Etienne and Jean cooked on me and Cajun fry every Sunday after church. Every now and then they try some authentic French recipes from cookbooks. Hello, Yvonne's? Yes, it's Mark. What do you mean as a private party? I've been dining with you for 8 years now. Surely you can find me a... Excuse me? You want to say that one again? Oh, already? Well, have yours too, pal. He slams the receiver down so hard it rattles the windows and storms out, leaning against the booth with his arms crossed, scrambling to pull out another cigarette. No dice? I believe they couldn't get a single table all day. If Reynard had picked up, he would have found us something. Flick, drag, exhale. No clue who this jackass was either. Must have been some new hire who didn't get the memo.
Well, I just lost a loyal customer. Oh, it's not worth blacklisting the damn place over. Only the first place I blacklisted. Or rather, who blacklisted me. But I guess you're right. We still have to eat, don't we? I could try the Blue Bungalow in Central Park.
The idea of sitting through another angry call fills me with dread. Look at my arm through Mark's to tug him along and I start to walk.
Hey, what are you...
Let's just look around. We can try something new.
I don't know anything around here.
Yeah, something new. What's your spirit of adventure?
I left it at home.
I ignore his whining and sniff around, hoping my strongest sense can find us some grub. It's hard to smell past Mark's smokiness. Eventually something sticks out. Savoury, fried, creamy. I follow my nose and end up a row of various shops that form a larger luncheonette. Rough day labourers are waiting in line to grab a quick bite, as well as a few businessmen. Mark's basically a rag doll at this point. I pull him over, try and find the source of the scent, store by store. I quickly find it. Dana's Polish Kitchen. Let's try this place. I've never had Polish food before.
From this dump, I don't want us to get sick.
He says that a little too loudly. A few shop owners shooting annoyed glances our way. I wince and try to smile back to let them know I'm on their side. Where's this snobbishness in Mark coming from? Did he forget the little hole in the wall he took me to yesterday? I see him tapping his foot, eager to leave. Trust me, the best food is always from small places like this. Look at all these people. It can't be that bad.
Alright.
I ordered a few pierogies and some kielbasa to start with. They sounded most familiar. I didn't want to risk getting something risky when Mark's been so difficult. Alright, I'll be $1.85. Oh, shit. I whip up my wallet. There's about 70 cents and a free drink voucher for Jean's bar that'll be beyond expired by now. 1 second. Hey, can I borrow $2? Sorry.
Huh? Oh, sure.
He reaches into a coat pocket and hands me a few crumpled bills. There's at least 6 in here. Guess it's just spare change for him. I grab what I need and run back to pay for our order, while sitting down across from him.
I should have guessed you wouldn't have any cash on you. Oh, my bad.
It's alright. Hey.
Yes?
You want to know something funny?
Oh, sure.
I'm actually having a great time.
Oh, today's been a complete disaster.
No, it hasn't. Do you know why?
Well, enlighten me.
I gently boop his nose and giggle as his ears flick wildly in confusion. So I'm spending it with you, wise guy.
Well, that's enough to make up for almost giving you a heart attack.
Even a shitty day can be fun if you spend it with a friend.
So, you really think of us as friends then?
I can hear his tail thumping against the bench as they wags ferociously. I do. You have to make it through this meal or I'll start questioning my taste in acquaintances. Deal?
Okay, I'll try.
Phew. There's the Mark I recognize. He shifts moods so quickly. Staying on his good side is going to be the key to this all working out. A few minutes later, a man brings our food on plastic trays. The presentation is lacking, but it smells incredible. 6 cheese pierogies, each with sour cream and apple sauce for dipping, and 2 long coiled sausages. My mouth is watering already. We dig in and I fall in love immediately. Savoury fried dough with salty cheese, sweet caramelised onions, and a hint of sour from the cream makes a perfect combination for a hearty meal during these harsh winter months. I work my way over to the kielbasa and I'm surprised by the smoky flavour and slight heat. Nothing close to Andriel or anything in the Cajun kitchen, but enough to be appreciated. I hear Mark moaning to his food, clearly echoing my sentiments.
Holy fuck, this is good. They're so cheap.
I can't stop eating.
Poland, I'm so sorry about World War II. You deserve better.
I have no idea what that means, but yes, justice for Poland. I almost get up to order more. I don't want to get sick of something so lovely. We quickly polish off our plates and leave the trays at the front. The cashier gives us a knowing smirk, having witnessed our religious experience. I thank him when we walk out. Belly's full and mood's greatly improved. I check the clock on a nearby lamppost and see it's only 4 o'clock. The light's already starting to dim, and I feel pretty tired, having been on my feet the whole day. I hear Mark yawn, imagining he slept even less than I did, having been woken up by me after I wandered to his bedroom during my nightmare. That nightmare. Hey, feeling tired yet? Yeah, a little. Might have just been the food, but I'm about ready to head home. Me too. Your couch is sounding really good right about now. It does sound good. I spot a subway station, recall seeing the same line not far from his apartment. Hey, why don't we take the train? I'm curious about the subway. He looks at the station, then back at me, his nose scrunched up in disgust. I don't think that's a good idea. I mean, just about anybody can ride those things. Remember your little encounter with a friendly flasher? It's how most of New York gets around, no? Surely it's... Ray, you're with me now. You don't have to put yourself in dangerous situations anymore. I'll get us a cab. But... He ignores my protest and walks to the curb. He gets ignored by a few cabs and starts to get pissed off again. God damn it. I guess it wasn't the cigarettes after all. Thought we made some progress, but all it takes is one little mishap to set him off. When he's like that, he says things that are completely out of character. Especially that comment about people who ride the train. He was speaking so charitably about the homeless yesterday. I was on the risk riding the same car as one. Did he reach out to me for another reason? Was that whole thing an act to gain my trust? I mean, kind-hearted or not, you don't bring strangers home without a good reason. I'm so readily accepting all the odd things I said by accident. Surely that must have set off some red flags by now. 20 minutes pass and the sun's practically set. He manages to finally hail us a taxi after working through a few cigarettes while pacing in circles angrily. I reluctantly scoot in next to Mark as he's sternly giving the cabbie directions. I start to zone out, the calming purr of the engine putting me into a trance once again. Mark's voice, now hoarse from yelling, begins to fade out. I walk across the damn mossy moorland, guided by moonlight. It's a cool night, and the fireflies seem to curtsy at me before continuing their intricate dance. I use my staff to pull myself up onto a nearby ledge. The tiny bells adorn it, softly echoing throughout the clearing. The sky is full of glistening stars. I sit on my newly found perch, gazing upward at the beauty the great mother has provided for us. Suddenly, my whiskers twitch and I sense chaos rising in the distance. The trees are muttering to one another. Something is wrong. I pull myself up onto my staff and sniff the air. Fire. It's coming from the south, down by the loch. Wake up, we're back home. Got a slight crick in my neck. It hurt a lot harder than intended. Surprised Mark didn't wake me up this time. I lazily following back up to his apartment and sprawl out on the couch, desperate to decompress on that roller coaster of it all. Mark hands up our coats and heads to the bathroom, leaving me to relax alone. Hasn't spoken a word since we got back. Is he angry with me? At himself? I hear the shower turn on. Yes, I have some time to myself. The clock's ticking away. I feel like a kid waiting for his mom to pick him up from playdate. I have nowhere else to go. I wish Simone was here. She always knew how to keep things lively, even during awkward moments. She refused to have a bad time and could diffuse any argument. Even the explosive ones me and Annette used to have. She had no stake in our relationship at all, still took it upon herself to salvage our friendship. Even after what I put her through. I wonder if she knew I kept seeing Annette after our breakup. I get butterflies in my stomach every time we met up with her after sneaking a quick fuck behind the work shed. Partly because I knew what we were doing was bad in the long run. Partly because I knew she thought of our friendship was strong enough to keep us together even after our affair. And to think, Christine would have ended up stuck with all this emotional baggage should have gone along with that farce when the marriage my father put together. Don't want to think about that. What to do? I can always rub one out. Mark's in the shower. I don't know how much time I have. Rub my hand over my junk and sink back into the couch, relaxing my muscles and taking a deep breath. It feels so taboo to loosen someone's living room. Should I stop? This isn't right. Grumpy or not, Mark, trust me, to let me stay here. I shouldn't take advantage of that kindness just for a quick nut. I'll wait until I have some real privacy. I'm glad I decided against it as Mark emerges from the bathroom only moments later.
Oh, sorry about that. I just felt grimy after being out all day. Really need to wash the city off me before I could relax.
No worries. Do whatever makes you comfortable. It's your house, after all.
Did you want to jump in yourself? Water's still nice and hot.
Ah, thanks, but it's still a little early for me. I took one a few days ago. Musky critters like possums don't really need to wash head to toe too often. The oils our bodies produce keep us pretty balanced, and it takes a lot for us to really stink. As long as I wash the parts that matter daily, you'd never know the difference. Of course, that's assuming you only stick around other possums. Etienne always said he could smell me from 1,000 paces, even gave me a bar of soap as a joke birthday gift one year. Which is funny since he can't seem to keep his snout away from my ass. I look up at Mark and he nods, seemingly not disgusted at all.
Makes sense. Trust me, I'd let you know if I thought you needed one.
Thanks. It's hard to gauge how the species will take it. He chuckles and walks over to the kitchen, grabbing some wine glasses out of the cabinet.
You're not the first possum I've met, trust me. New York has every species you can imagine. You're used to everybody doing their own thing.
He bends down and I hear the clinking of glass as he grabs a bottle of wine from somewhere.
Besides, I enjoy a little extra spice every now and then. You smell good, Gray.
I blush and kick my feet against the couch playfully. Well, you smell pretty good too. Did you put cologne on again right after a shower?
Nope. They sell a bath set of that scent, so I used the soap that came with it.
I appreciate his attention to details. In the animal world, having a signature scent is a good way to stick out among your peers. Bet that drive for individuality helped him get where he is now. Everything about Mark is just so... Mark. He uncorks the bottle and sets it out to breathe before sauntering back over to me.
I think I'll give it 20 minutes or so. Shame I couldn't fit a proper wine rack in here. They stack nicely under the sink.
I'm not that picky with wine. I left home before I could ever try the nice stuff.
Oh, so you come from money after all. I had a feeling.
I lean back with my hands behind my head and sigh. I'm not thrilled to talk about my family, but it'll come up eventually. Yeah, all money. I gave that up a long time ago.
Must have been for a good reason then.
It was. Mark, you know I'm not from around here.
Well, yeah. New Orleans in 1928, if I'm correct.
Yeah. Well, not exactly. I used to live north of the city. Ever heard of the Oakfield Plantation? He shakes his head. My family's owned it for generations. I grew up in the manor there. We had a full custodial staff, cooks, groundskeepers, anything you could imagine.
So something pretty nasty must have happened for you to leave.
It's not that simple. It's more like... I realised our livelihood was only possible because my grandfather owned cattle as slaves. Everything I used to think was beautiful suddenly looked dirty, corrupted.
What did you do?
Tried to tell my sister how I felt. She usually stuck it out for me, but nobody in the family would listen. They were too concerned with our reputation. They worried I'd cause a big stink, go against the politics of our conglomerates. So my father's solution was to force me to marry the daughter of an oil baron. Threatened to cut me off completely if I didn't.
Wow, did you even know the girl?
No, it wasn't done out of love, of course. It would help the company's upcoming merger. I was content with staying a bachelor if it meant our family line would die out one day.
So you ran?
His words stung a little, though his tone was more remorseful than outright judgmental. I left before I was forced to play into my father's hand. It wasn't an easy decision. I feel Mark wrapping an arm around me again. Feels a little inappropriate after that last comment.
I'm kind of me impressed. You stood up for yourself. That's a commendable act.
Feels like he's babying me.
I could tell just by glance you were special. Boy, do I know how to pick 'em.
Right. I can't keep doing this with him. I need to know something. I gently push his arm off me and look him in the eyes. Mark? Why did you let me come stay with you? He looks at me dumbfounded and blinks for a few seconds, unsure of how to answer.
Why? Well, you looked like you needed my help. I have the means, so...
Those bums we saw yesterday? They didn't need help? He crossed his arms and looks at me sternly, the corner of his mouth twitching.
The ones that were making fools of themselves in front of that whorehouse? Yeah, they needed help. Professional help.
That's not the point. What about me made you trust me right away?
I can't really put my finger on it. What's the point in asking me this now?
I don't understand how any of this could seem normal to him. It's important because I need to know if I can trust you. He scoffs and stands up, pacing around the couch.
Trust me? What have I done?
Gray, if you're uncomfortable, I'm sorry.
Just tell me what I did so I can apologize.
No, it's not like that. It's just...
damn it.
How can I make you understand that...
Understand what? It's dangerous to bring a stranger home where I live by myself? That you could be taking advantage of my kindness?
Mark.
You've had every opportunity to rob me, kill me, rape me, and I would have only had myself to blame? Well, guess what? I know this is fucking stupid.
Please, just don't yell.
Well, someone had just done that for Joshua, right? If I had just...
He crumbles onto the couch and starts sobbing into his hands. I awkwardly reach out to comfort him, but retract, unsure of where our boundaries lie right now. I'm sorry. I want to help. I just don't know what to do. Please, tell me what's going on. He wipes his nose on his arm and takes a few deep breaths before shakily replying.
No. You're right. You should know why.
I didn't want to talk about it. It happened 3 years ago. I had a brother, Josh. He wasn't great at much. School, work, girls always turn out the same for him. Our parents aren't patient people. They saw one son excelling and another being a drain on their resources, on society. I nodded. I could easily relate, remembering how adept Jules was to playing her role in the family. I barely trailed behind. Even though he was a fuck-up, I loved him. I mean, we're family. We're supposed to take care of each other, right? Yeah, in theory. He clears his throat and grips his knees tightly, steeling himself what's to come next. He'd always hung around the wrong crowd. Our folks didn't like him bringing his friends home since they'd smoke and drink all night. It didn't help that he's stealing their money to buy pot. One night, they just about had it. They kicked him out with only the shirt on his back. Jesus, what did he do? His ears low with his gaze and he looks away. I didn't do anything. I've been living on my own for years and no idea what was going on with him. Parents didn't care to mention it to me either. Oh. Found out a few months later when he surprised me in the lobby. He'd lost a ton of weight. I could tell he's using something stronger than pot. So I took him in, cleaned him up, kept him fed. I was just happy to have my little bro back in my life. I even took him to the museum. He said he was so proud of me. I wish I'd said it back. Not long after that, he reconnected with those friends. They got him hooked on speed. We were fighting one night. I said some things I shouldn't have. And he walked out on me. Of his own accord, of course. I found out about his passing on New Year's morning a week later. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. He wipes a final tear away with his pinky and smiles. I'm the one who should be sorry. I didn't want to put all of that on you. I move closer and place a hand on his knee. No, I'm glad you did. I understand now. It really reminded me of him at his best. I guess that's why. Seeing you out there like that, it felt like I'd been letting Josh die again. You didn't let him die. You did whatever you could to keep him alive. More than your parents did. Felt especially sore hearing about yet another case of shitty parenting. Can't imagine not caring if my child lived or died. Those people deserve eternal damnation if there even was such a thing. I stand up and head to the kitchen. Mark flips around with a confused woof. Gray? Is there ever a conversation need to be followed by wine? It's this one. I pour us 2 heavy glasses and walk over. We toast and I close my eyes to take a long contemplative sip. It's fabulous wine, as expected. I hear Mark gulp the entire glass down and I shrug. It's been that kind of day. Suddenly he surprised me with a big hug. He buries his head into my shoulder and I feel warm tears soaked through my shirt. I'm so sorry. For what? You're my guest. I shouldn't have made you feel uncomfortable. This whole day was... I gently push his snout up and press my forehead to his, looking into his gentle amber eyes. I told you, I'm your friend, not your guest. Mark, Before I can finish, he plants his muzzle onto mine and locks me into a tender kiss. I taste the wine on his lips with a hint of ash. I'm so shocked that I can't pull away at first. I lean into it, careful not to spill my drink. The fur on his snout is gritty, or enough to be irritating. His stubby whiskers tickle against mine. His breath is hot and he moans into my mouth. Place a hand on his chest and grab a fistful of soft, shaggy fur. I slowly move my fingers down towards his nipples, knowing they're hidden in that sea of orange. I find my target and feel a shudder run through his body. He responds by caressing the back of my neck, using the other hand to slowly unbutton my shirt. Time slows as we make out. His long canine tongue dances with mine and I feel something firm rubbing against my leg. It's getting hard and so am I. I tap his shoulder and pull back slowly, a string of saliva connecting our lips. Well, what's wrong? Nothing. It's just a little fast. Oh, all right, of course. He sits up and straightens his robe out, strategically covering his lap with the extra fabric. How embarrassing. The wine must have... Mark, it's okay. I liked it. His ears perk up and he cocks his head curiously. Really? I rub his head, mussing up his mane. Yes, but you're my friend first and foremost. I want to take things slowly and get to know you better before we move the goalposts any further. Yes, I'd like that. I kiss him on the forehead and give him a hug. I haven't felt this way about someone in a long time. There's electricity in the air, the thrill of not knowing where this will lead. The sweet moment is interrupted by the sound of a growling stomach. Mark's this time. He chuckles and rubs his belly. Guess it's about that time again. I say we woke up an appetite. He reaches behind him and grabs a phone, the thick coiled cable hanging around his shoulders like one of Simone's feather boas. Well, I think I'll take a note of your book. Pizza? I love you. We laugh and order a large pie to go with our drinks. We spend the rest of the night recounting our day between greasy bites of dough and polish off that bottle of wine before cracking open a second. Never expected Mark to be so forward. Maybe it comes with the times? I'm used to assuming most men are off the table, strictly for my own safety. I suddenly feel a lot more at ease knowing I can be myself while staying with Mark. As I finish up my third slice, I cough awkwardly to get his attention. His mid-bite, a long string of cheese connecting his snout to a half-eaten slice. So, How did you know?
What? That I was a homosexual?
Hearing the phrase said so casually made me instinctively look around, as if someone could be eavesdropping on us. Well, yes. The way those cops talked to us earlier doesn't seem like people are any more open-minded here than where I'm from. He leans back, taking a deep sip of wine before continuing.
Well, you're right. Things could be much better in that department. Like we get with anything romantic with another man in public. We have our hideaways here, should you know where to look.
Yeah, but when did you know it wasn't something fleeting?
Probably my sophomore year in college. I know, it's cliché.
Extremely.
I was in an all-male dorm up in Princeton. When you're away from home for the first time and everyone's curious about sex, things just... Well, let's say we had a special sort of bond. Became somewhat of a ritual. We even had a secret knock. Some of us came away cured of our curiosities, while others, like myself, were still hungry for more.
Jeez, I can't be a little jealous.
I had private tutoring at the estate, so I never got to hang out with anyone my age during those years.
But you know what they say, possums make do.
Those lucky farmhands will hopefully take the secrets of those passionate nights to their graves.
So you got to experiment in a somewhat safe environment then? He nods gleefully, scratches his chin while likely recounting one of his many escapades.
Thankfully, yes. After it was all said and done, it was clear that women just weren't for me. Men were.
I see. I'm happy it was such a simple path for you.
Yeah, well, I mean, wasn't there a day when it all just clicked for you?
I tug at my collar nervously. I'm not exactly done figuring it out yet, actually. I'm not just gay. That word just doesn't feel accurate. He leans in, interested.
Oh, do tell.
I blushed, somehow more embarrassed talking about this than kissing him. Well, you know, I've dated women before, been intimate with them the whole 9 yards. Even fell in love with one. He nods, his tone still respectful.
I see. So you like both men and women? That's got to be convenient. Twice the options.
I shake my head, failing to find the words. I blurt out the first thing that comes to mind. Mark, I like everything. There's an awkward pause where he erupts in laughter. I cover my head in shame as his laughs turn to rough coughs, pushing it down with more drink.
Mark! Sorry, that caught me off guard.
I don't really understand what you mean, though. He holds up a throw pillow, wiggling its bottom half to mimic a seductive woman's strut.
You're saying you'd fall in love with this pillow if you fancied it? Or a particularly coquettish oak tree, perhaps?
He stifles a giggle and I slap the pillow out of his hand. No, wise guy. What I mean is, when I fancy someone, I don't really care what they bring to the table, if that makes sense. He gingerly places the pillow back on the couch, affectionately patting it before turning his attention back at me.
Downstairs, you mean?
I nod. There was a time where I thought this whole world was pretty black and white. Men, women, pick one and move on with your life, right? One day I pondered something. If there was someone in between, or maybe, I don't know, a girl who really, really wanted to be a boy and did everything in her power to become a he. Would that really change anything if I loved them for who they were? He pauses, I think, for a bit, choosing his words carefully.
I've seen such a person. Well, plenty of them, really. In those hideaways I mentioned earlier, you'll find society's rejects congregating and making the most out of the strange life they were given.
I sit up in amazement, sure I'd been speaking purely in fictional terms. Really?
I was shocked too at first. But down on Christopher Street, pretty much anything is possible. Gays, lesbians, transsexuals, everyone's managed to find someone who accepts them. So I've never met someone quite like you. I guarantee you're not alone. Maybe there's a word for it, maybe not.
I beam ear to ear. Finally. A dash of hope hidden away in this bizarre future. Take his hand and place it on my chest, a gentle thumping of my heart resonating in time with his pulse. Mark, you don't know how happy I am to hear that.
Oh, I'm glad.
For a long time I thought I was just some deviant, someone who would take wherever they could get. Even knowing there's one place in the world where another person like me could exist gives me hope that I'm not a freak, you know? He smiles and gently pets my chest. For the record, I never thought of you as a freak. Not for that reason, anyway. I ignore the drunken humour and press on. Next time you visit one of these places, I go with you. Maybe there's someone will know what to even call it.
It'd be nice to have a word, eh?
A little. Is that weird?
Not like I wake up every morning, eat my eggs and think, by golly, I'm gay, or anything. Sure, it's nice to have a foundation when I'm still figuring it out, but trust me, it's not essential to experience to live and die by the textbook definition of your identity.
When you put it that way, it does sound a little bleak. Guess I'm just happy I don't have to worry about defining it anymore then. I can close the book on that chapter.
Exactly. Besides, a word is just a word and nothing more. At the end of the day, no term can truly define who you are as an individual. Josh.
Great.
Well, that's what I said.
He chuckles and coughs up a wine boat he takes her glasses over the sink. A little time gone by, Mark was now able to laugh at the bumps along the way. His smile lights up the room and I feel that warm, safe feeling wash over me again. Just needed context, that's all. Anyone in his position would be a little off sometimes. After we lost Sam, well, none of us were ever the same. He comes back and cozies up to me, yawning. He nuzzles into my chest and I gently stroke his mane. Both of us are pleasantly buzzed and it seems like a good time to start winding things down for the evening. This might have been one of the best days of my life. Even if things are uncertain and scary at times, if he's here with me, things will be alright. I'm starting to drift off with him still on top of me. He's fallen asleep, rising and falling in time with breathing. Ah, damn, we never made it to the bed. Oh well. Another night on the couch won't kill me. Ah, young love. You'll have to see it. Oh, you're going to leave them be for tonight? How generous. Oh, that. Oh, it's just you. I figure they earn some good night's rest before things get. Well, it wouldn't be a fair game if they were plumb tuckered now, would it? If you ask me, it's still quite imbalanced. That's what I've come to expect from your play style. Careful now, boy. Come now, 'twas a joke. I'd like to make a wager then. Alrighty, let's hear it. I'm betting the possum will fall early. Really now? Are you sure you want to bet against the house? Especially after you worked so hard to win your own? I have a condition. What? Give me a piece on the board. Ah, I see now. That would be mighty interesting, wouldn't it? Something distracted from that thing. Only then can it be a fair test of the boy's mettle. What will be in it for you, son? What's in it for me? Why, to let me pick it apart and examine its contents, piece by piece. You're a sick puppy, you know that? Alrighty, it's a deal. All hands off the table now. You try anything funny and all bets are off, son. Splendid. Well then, I have work to do. I'll be seeing you soon, Mr. Gray. There we go. That was the latest episode of Burrows. Who was that stranger talking to Virgil? Will we find out next episode? I have no idea. But I doubt it somehow. I hope you're enjoying this one. It's definitely a little different from the other ones. And assuming things don't change too much until I get to the next episode, that should round us up on the current extent of Mark's route. So I think we'll probably be going back a bit in time and taking on a different route. I haven't quite decided how to do this one yet, but there's that possibility definitely. Once I figure out everyone's voices again, because I don't remember what I did for them. But yeah, if you want to read more, definitely you can go and download Burrows and read it yourself. It's both on Patreon. All the details are in the description as usual. And speaking of Patreon, thanks to all my donors on Patreon and the few of you who donate on Ko-fi. It's very much appreciated. And my top donors on Patreon are Sumutu, Kajit Cook, Andy Penn, Mohammed Al-Zamel, Aaron Fox, Exak, Evan King, Marcus, Burnt Toast, Kartek, Gobelsvisser, Besuksu, Mark Eskerton, Bastian, Ryan Hall, Tiger Cub, Hyde Corval, Anubis Silverwind, Dissonance, Grizz, Biderling, Kopi, and Sindri Dragowolf. So special thanks to all of them. Next Saturday we'll be back with the Smoke Room, Karen with Williams route there. And then the weekend after we'll be doing some more Nevin. And then a few things come in December which I still have to plan. I'm hoping around January to go back to giving you an extra video or two every month in the weekday, midweek kind of thing. Things hopefully will have calmed down by then. I'm just very busy doing other things at the moment, so I don't really have time for those extra videos. But yeah, hopefully January we'll come back to that. And we'll have a few more videos on the channel. But I say that's it for now until next weekend. Bye for now.